Yo, what's good, basketball heads? It's your boy Crush. Let's talk about Stephen A. Smith saying that Steve Ballmer and the Clippers should force Kawhi Leonard to retire. I mean, that is crazy. This is a real sticky subject because after Game 1 and Game 2, Kawhi Leonard missed the entire postseason and the Clippers are eliminated from the playoff. And it's another failed season after load managing for months upon months. It's another failed season. And I can't imagine the frustration from the organization, from Steve Ballmer, the front office, the players on the team. I can't imagine everybody is frustrated with Kawhi because every season is the same letdown. It's always injury. Every season, it's the same issue. I don't know who's more injury prone, Kawhi or Anthony Davis. They're both always injured, and it's just disappointing, man. Game 1 gave everybody hope. The entire Clipper Nation had hope after Game 1. If you saw Game 1, you saw what you thought the Clippers were or would have been. Like, okay, this team is legit. Kawhi came out, scored 38 points. Russell Westbrook had a heroic effort in the fourth quarter. And I was like, man, this is a better team. And they are a better team. But the issue is the stars can't stay healthy. They're never healthy. So Kawhi played 2 games and he was absent. PG been absent. He's injured. And it's another sad story. So Stephen A. Smith is saying Steve Ballmer and the organization should force Kawhi Leonard to retire. And that sounds crazy. So this is what Stephen A. Smith had to say. I'm not questioning his heart. I'm not questioning his courage. I'm not questioning any of that. The man is a 2-time champion. He's a 2-time finals MVP. But he is the absolute worst superstar you could ever possibly have on your team. He's barely ever there. And on top of it all, he does nothing to market or promote your franchise. Steve Ballmer and the Los Angeles Clippers should force Kawhi Leonard to retire. I wouldn't go that far to say force him to retire. I mean, if you want to trade him or move him, then that's understandably. But forcing him to retire, that's a bit extreme, but I understand the frustration. At this point, I get it. Everybody is frustrated. If you are a Clipper fan, I know you had it up to here with Kawhi and this constant injury, constant load managing. He's never available when the team needs him. And Russell Westbrook is out here trying to play hero. Played well. Russ didn't go to LA to be the first option. No, he's the third option. But in the wake of Kawhi and PG being absent, Russ had to try to be the number 1 option. And he did his best. He played great, but it wasn't enough. Because they needed Kawhi. They needed PG. So I understand everybody's frustration with Kawhi. And it's always an issue. And reports came out. The reason why he was unavailable after Game 2, he has a torn meniscus. So once again, Kawhi is always injured. Like, I don't know why his body's so brittle, but he's always injured. Him and Anthony Davis, always injured. Pick one or the other. They're both on the LA teams. I mean, and this is frustrating, very frustrating. Every season, every year. Ever since Kawhi signed with the Clippers in 2019, Kawhi has struggled to be healthy, especially in the playoff. The playoff is where Kawhi is always unavailable. He'll be okay in the regular season most of the times. Approaching the playoffs, Kawhi always get hurt. I don't know what is it with Kawhi being hurt right before the playoff, but it's always the issue. So Kawhi and PG barely play together. They have barely laced them up in the playoff together. Barely. It's always one or the other. Either Paul George is hurt or Kawhi is hurt. It's always one or the other. So you barely get to see them together on the court. It's like they're taking turns. Your turn, my turn. Oh, you're injured? I'll play. Oh, I'm injured. And it's always like that. And I don't know how that's going to change in the future. 4 seasons and they have nothing to show for it because of injury, nothing else. This team is still one of the best teams in the NBA, hands down. But if your stars can't stay healthy, how are you supposed to compete to win a championship? At this moment, it seems like the Clippers will never get a championship. Not with Kawhi and Paul George, because they are just injury prone. More so Kawhi. And even so, Paul George is injured half the time. So this is an ongoing issue. And if I'm Steve Ballmer, you got to be like super frustrated. And I'm sure Steve Ballmer is sitting around like, man, thinking about his option. Should I get rid of this guy? I wouldn't force him to retire, but I would see if any team want him, because Kawhi is one of my favorite players. And I hate to say this, but if I'm Steve Ballmer, I got to get off Kawhi. I just have to get off Kawhi. I mean, he's great, but his injury overshadowed his greatness. As great as he is, he's always unavailable. And if you're unavailable, it doesn't matter how talented you are. If you are unavailable, there's no point. The most success Kawhi and Paul George had was in the bubble. And the sad story is they were supposed to win in the bubble. They got cocky and they never got to face the Lakers, which I know they would have beaten. I know the Clippers would have beaten the Lakers in 2020. That was their chance to win it all, and they blew it, being overly confident and looking ahead. You can't look ahead. You got to focus on what's in front of you. I just had to throw that in there, man, and it's just sad. That's the most you have seen Kawhi and PG in the playoff. Ever since then, it's been injury. One is missing, the other is missing, and they could never get together at the same time, ever. It's always injuries. And I know everybody's frustrated. And Tyronn Lue said, with Kawhi and PG healthy, the Clippers have never lost. And that shows you how great they are as a duo if they're healthy. But they're never healthy, so that is just a dream. All you can do is dream, because these two men are never healthy. And it's just sad, man. Especially if you're a Clipper fan. You know, currently Kawhi Leonard has a torn meniscus, so he's going to be recovering. He's already been recovering, hence why he didn't play in the playoff after game 2. And all we could do is hope for the best in the future. We'll see what happens in the summer if the Clippers decide to move him or whatever they decide to do. You know, if they decide to re-sign Russell Westbrook, he's been great. But we'll see what happens. To be continued. As always, I'll holla. As always, we just talking basketball. Hit the subscribe button, like, comment, share, holla at your boy.
It's all about the game and how you play it. It's all about the game. I'ma say it. It's all about the game.